How many plastic bags are used every minute worldwide?
200,000.
A million.
What? No way.
1 million bags every minute.
Holy bonkers.
What is holy bomb? Welcome to the Social Pine Show, a show where we talk about small, sustainable habits that you can introduce into your daily life and the benefits that they have.
If you're looking for that first step towards a more sustainable lifestyle, today we're going to introduce 4 really simple alternatives to single-use plastics. Specifically, focusing on 2 of the biggest offenders, Ziploc bags and Saran wrap.
We get it. Ziploc bags and Saran wrap are extremely convenient, especially when it comes to food storage, but they're unfortunately extremely detrimental to the environment.
Ziploc bags, although technically recyclable, are almost never cleaned out or disposed of properly in plastic waste, and they often find their way into water and soil, degrading into harmful microplastics.
While Saran wrap is either burned in incinerators and releasing chemicals into the air, or it's degrading in landfills that are slowly leaking those chemicals into our waterways.
And both of these products are found in nearly every household, with the average family using about 2 rolls of Saran wrap and 500 Ziploc bags per year.
But there are 4 sustainable alternatives that we found to be beneficial in our lives, and we wanted to share some of the pros and cons of each of those today. So the first one we want to introduce is pretty obvious. Instead of Ziploc bags, it's just reusable Ziploc bags. Nothing too crazy here.
These are pretty great, especially if you're storing veggie scraps in the freezer, or if you take a to-go baggie to school, to work, or for lunch.
I think the biggest con we have with these is that they're actually a little smaller than maybe the comparable Ziploc bag. They don't quite get as much space as you would expect them to. And they're also a little bit harder to clean than some of the other options. Definitely can't stuff them the way you would stuff like a single-use Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Next item we have are silicone produce covers.
These are extremely durable. They're very thick and bendy. They're really easy to clean compared to the reusable plastic bags as well.
Kind of the only thing we don't love about these is that because they are pre-shaped, for this instance is an avocado one. If our avocado is not the perfect shape, or more typically we find like tomatoes or onions aren't the perfect shape, they don't really get a good seal on the silicone, and then it doesn't really do the job that you want it to.
We usually put a rubber band around it if it's not a great seal to still use them, but it doesn't keep it as fresh.
The next one is our tried and true Tupperware.
We love to use the Tupperware, especially for chopped veggies, because they keep a really good seal and keep the produce fresh for a very long time. And then when we're done with it, we could just rinse it out and throw it right in the dishwasher.
We just upgraded to these Rubbermaid hard plastic Tupperware as well, and we've been a big fan compared to what we used to use, and they have a really nice seal to them. Really the only downside to a Tupperware like this is it's a little bulky, and it is a little bit more expensive, so you typically kind of don't want to use them on, a single half a cucumber or a half a tomato. It's not really our most efficient option for those types of items.
Our fridge is just like, Tupperware, Tupperware, Tupperware.
Loads of Tupperware. And the last one we're going to talk about is actually new to us, and we just made these ourselves. Our Soy Wax Wraps.
So, unlike beeswax wraps, using soy is a vegan option. We wanted to try making these because they are extremely customizable. We cut out a bunch of different shapes and sizes so they could fit our different produce. And then all you would do is just wrap your veggies up in them, and you could they kind of stick together, or you could use a rubber band to tie it together.
Got this glass of water right here. You could just put it on, and you just put a little rubber band on it, and boom. Preserved.
Boom.
Tell people how many you made.
I think I made 23.
23.
Out of like 4 fabric squares. It's insane. And they're really easy to make. All you do is sprinkle a little soy wax on them and then pop them in the oven for 2 minutes and hang them out to dry.
We haven't had much of a chance to use them just yet, but from our kind of research and what we can already tell from them, there's kind of 2 cons to them. The first is that you do typically need to include like a rubber band or some type of elastic enclosure, so when you're putting it on something, it won't quite seal to it the way maybe like a beeswax would, which is fine with us because we have way too many rubber bands at our disposal. And the second one is that eventually they will degrade over time. They start to crack and the wax needs to be reapplied, but the good news is that you can continue to re-wax them, so you don't have to throw them away every time, which is awesome.
They last for about a year, we've been told. So we'll give you an update in a year. They also smell pretty nice. I like it.
we're torn on the smell. All of these options are relatively affordable with a little bit of different cost. So the reusable Ziploc bags are typically around $10 for 10, so roughly $1 a bag based on where you get them online. The soy wax wraps cost us about $15 in between the fabric and the wax to make. And again, we made 23 of varying sizes, which came out to like 65 cents a wrap. Granted, one of those wraps is big enough to put over a baking sheet, and one of them is designed specifically for like a cucumber, but still pretty affordable. The silicone cover sets are a little bit more expensive. They're around $10, and you typically only get like 4 or 5, so it's around $2.50 a piece, but they are extremely durable and they do last a long time. And obviously Tupperware is probably going to be, on the more expensive side of them. I think our set was about $20 for 10, and granted, some of those are this big and they're tiny, but that came out to about $2 a piece of Tupperware. So all within a pretty reasonable amount relative to each other, and all really cost-effective, sustainable strategies to reduce your dependency on single-use plastic. So what do you think are maybe the best usage for each one, and like, do we use all 4 of them?
All right, Ziploc bags, snacks.
Snacks.
We love our snacks, especially when we go on hikes or road trips. They're great for that.
Or we just go down the road. We always bring a snack.
Silicone are only good for half veggies. Tupperware, I love leaving for leftovers, but if we have any, like, chopped up, like, onion, the smaller Tupperware are perfect for that, because onion goes bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, we almost always have chopped onion, chopped tomato in the fridge at all times.
Yeah.
And now the new soy wax wraps. Where are we using these?
Everywhere. I'm so excited for them. I think if you could only get 1 or 2, I would go for the soy wax wraps, or beeswax if you don't care about being vegan, and the Ziploc bags.
I agree. I think the wax wraps are this new Swiss Army knife we're going to try out, hopefully find some good uses, and we'll see how we like them. If you made it this far in the video, you obviously care somewhat about introducing more sustainable habits into your life, and we hope to continue to provide you that content every week with one new small tip to introduce, whether that's eco-friendly or we're going to get into more lifestyle habits. But in order for us to do that, we'd really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button below. That allows us to continue to make these videos and continue to dedicate the time towards this, which we're really passionate about growing this into a bigger, more evolved brand talking about sustainability and all the things that we've learned and hope to continue learning.
And comment, because we definitely want to hear what you use and what you're going to use in the future.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
For the first question, you just gotta like put yourself into like middle school mentality.
We
My parents have to put things over their cups because they got fruit flies.
We'll send them some wax wraps. Hey, Lean.